Two of the most influential business groups in New South Wales and Victoria have united to demand their respective states lift border restrictions, with increasing vaccination rates driving an acceleration of the country out of pandemic settings. Paul Guerra is the CEO of the Victorian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Paul, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ross.
Hey, I read your email yesterday or statement or whatever it was that went to the broader community about why would you make announce that you are going to announce an easing of restrictions on Sunday.
Yeah, we want to open up as soon as we can. I think every Victorian's waited long enough now. As soon as the date is ready, let's get it announced so that we've got something to look forward to. It's a bit of a case come Sunday. We'll have the popcorn ready and let's hope that we've got something to cheer about. But ultimately, we just want to see business get back to doing what they love best, and every citizen across the state being given the freedoms that we once knew. We need that. We need that clarity soon.
So, Paul, you've got together with your compatriot in New South Wales. So are you saying that New South Wales and Victoria need to have the same exit plan?
Yeah, good morning, Russ. Yeah, I mean, the two states rely on each other so much. You think of the busiest air route in the world, Melbourne, Sydney, I think it's either number 2 or number 3, or it was, and let's hope it gets back there. The independencies between the two cities are there. And then when you come down closer to home on the border there, those communities along there from Albury-Wodonga to Echuca, Moama, through to Mildura and the other side of the river there and across to sort of Cairn River, they rely on so much. They're integrated communities. The communities rely on Victorians for tourism, particularly on the New South Wales side as well. So it's kind of let's get everything aligned. New South Wales are out ahead of time with their 70% plan. I can't believe the health advice could be that much difference between the two states. So let's make sure that Victoria's plan aligns with New South Wales at the 70, and then let's get both states aligned at the 80 so we can open up and get this part of the economy down this part of Australia pumping again.
The no-brainer, Paul, is to link it all to vaccination rates, right? So that people know that vaccination rates have to get to 70 or 80% double jabbed, and people will be rewarded. And that's what they're doing in New South Wales. They are linking it to vaccination rates. Are you worried that New South Wales' 70 is going to be Victoria's 80?
Well, we're sort of worried about what's coming, and I agree with you entirely, Ross. This is straightforward, right? We know that the National Cabinet has put out what happens at 70% and what happens at 80% at a high level. It's up to the states to fill in the details, and what we're saying is New South Wales and Victoria come together and fill the details in together so that between the residents and the businesses that share the border but interoperate, let's not make it difficult. Let's make it easy for us to come out of this. Vaccination rates are the way forward. Put conditions around them if we need to, but let's be really clear what happens so that as we travel between New South Wales and Victoria, there's no confusion.
So, Paul, have you and the New South Wales Chamber, have you actually put a paper together that says here is what we believe should, here are the unifying factors, and then presented those to the New South Wales government and the Vic government?
Yeah, certainly at our side we have. We released a plan last week, and it basically goes through where regional Victoria is now at 80% first dose. Let's get metropolitan Victoria shifting to that and opening up a bit more. We want certainty for kids to go back to school from the start of Term 4. I mean, tomorrow is the last day of Term 3. Teachers are going to go to holidays without knowing whether kids are coming back for Term 4, and that's got to be solved for. We think it's time to get them back to school. And then at 70%, let's get hospitality open, let's get events coming back, let's get funerals and weddings, let's get gyms open, let's get theatres back. And then at 80%, that's got to be what we consider to be COVID normal. Now, our plan is based on previous openings that the public health settings have allowed for in Victoria. So there's nothing new in it. We know how to do it. Let's borrow from that and let's get us opened.
As far as I can read it, Paul, it's all about ICU, right? It's all because when you reopen at those sorts of rates, people are going to get sick. Some people are going to get sick, some are going to die, and the ICU, those units are going to be very, very busy, right? So you're going to get to the stage of saying, yeah, we can reopen, but we've got to be confident that the ICUs are not going to be overrun and we don't put our frontline healthcare workers under stress. Is that your take? It's all about ICUs?
Yeah, it is. It's what happens at that 80%. Ideally we get to 100% and then that load comes off. But last year we bought a bunch of PPE, we bought a bunch of ventilators that in that phase of flattening the curve, we had that stock available. Where is that stock? And can we, in advance of hitting any of these parameters, can we start getting some emergency areas set up so that if we do happen to hit that load, we've got beds ready to take patients in, God forbid that we get to that point. So I agree with you. It is about what happens in the hospital system, but we've got time to prepare for that. So let's take the time now to get it prepared so that if we do hit it, we know what we need to do.
So, Paul, if there was some sludge that you'd like to, wash away in order to get us there quicker, what would that be?
Oh, let's get it announced today, Russ. Every business is hanging on to this. There's not long now between where we start and Christmas. A lot of the hospitality venues are saying, "Can we take bookings? Can't we?" People need a break. We know that. There's the amount of stress that's in the community now. We need to know where we can go for holidays as well. So give business certainty to open up
and vaccinate, so that eventually it'll end up being a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Mm-hmm. I can tell you, a listener to the program known as, I'll call him the medalist, has pointed out, just alerted me, Paul, a sure sign that school holidays are about to start. You know what it is?
No.
Petrol's gone up to $1.75 a litre overnight. It's up 40 cents.
I know, but where are people going to travel to, though?
Yeah.
I know. Exactly. Just go for a little circle work.
Yeah.
We have an opportunity here between the two states. Let's not get another rail gauge situation. Let's not get another situation where horses run different ways in both states. Let's get both states aligned. Let's get us opened up and let's get this state and this country going again.
There you go. Good on you, Paul. Paul Guerra. Someone
I've got,
close to me says you can't just magic up emergency staff to staff these new areas. That's the problem.
Yep.
Is getting the staff to staff the ICUs for when the sick people start to stream in.
And if you have hospitals in Tier 1, then that means you've got staff in furlough. And I'm wondering should hospitals be T1? Is that the case in other parts of the world?
I don't know.